we have here is a rare crossover video. It's because I've been doing the same work on both model kits at the same time. We're talking about the mouth on both Godzilla and the three-headed King Ghidorah or King Gidrah. So let me move the camera a little bit so we can see what I've been working on. I'm going to zoom it in some. Not a lot. Right past where they're at. Here's a King Ghidorah head. Let's move that in a little bit. There we go. There's a King Gidrah head. There's the inside of the mouth. I'm not sure how happy I am with that. Seems to look okay right now. Here's the corresponding other piece of the mouth. On camera it looks fine, and in person it looks just a little too light in color to me. But I'm gonna leave it because mouths are light in color. So, there we go. Here's another Ghidorah head. And another Ghidorah head. The other bottom jaw. And the last bottom jaw. So you can see I've been working on all of them. All three heads. Wanted to get the mouth done before I do any assembly work any further, because once those jaws get glued to the heads, I really doubt I'm going to be able to get in there and paint them. The teeth are pinkish right now, and I know I can paint over them later. I have no worries with that. So I'm going to leave them pinkish right now. Plus, I want the gum lines to be pink. There is some cleanup I need to do around the gums, but again, I'm not too worried about that right now. This guy's going to get one hell of a gold or silver paint job. I'm thinking of painting him titanium gold. Well, we're going to set that aside. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Bring in Godzilla's mouth. Oop, wrong way. Still on the sprue. There's his upper jaw. His bottom jaw. His tongue is on the other end. There's his tongue. Okay. Had to do some fill work on the tongue. There was a nice big seam, mold seam on the tongue. And there's another shot of his tongue. So that's where I stand right now on the Godzilla mouth, the Ghidorah mouth. I'm calling them pretty done. I can start gluing them together in about an hour or two once they have dried up enough that I feel comfortable with doing that. So I can get back to work on other things. That's the last bit of seam filling I'm going to have to do, I think, on Godzilla, because I got most of them done. I'm about to start gluing him up. We'll be back in a while. Alright, everyone. Very little work done on Mr. Godzilla. But the very first thing you're going to notice, my camera will focus on him and not the dang trackball. He has a mouth. His teeth are pinkish. I know, we'll fix that. I also got to take care of the seam line around his jaw. That's why I went ahead and glued that on there while I'm working on the seam line around his head. Still haven't fixed the seam on top of his head. But I figured I'd take care of that as well as the seam line around his jaw, because that's too sharp of a line. I'm going to take some Aves and fix that tomorrow night. Now, the worst part of this kit was putting that mouth together. So far, that's the worst part, because the upper jaw is a separate piece. You can tell from looking at an earlier video. And, well, let's just say it doesn't fit in there incredibly well. It's a little on the loose side. Just a tad bit on the loose side. So instead of my fast setting Super Duty glues, I got out the regular Tamiya cement. Now, it works wonders when you're working with parts like that, because it slowly sets. You can position the part the way you want it, hold it for a little bit, and it cures. While some of the other glues don't do that. Still got to give him some nostrils. That's coming up shortly. I'll be back. Okay, been working on King Ghidorah a little bit more. What I've done is glued the mouth onto the head. Now, I did all this at the same time I was working on Mr. Godzilla. Okay? So most of you are aware of the, well, you can see the colors are pretty much the same. I'm going to go back and paint those teeth. They are not going to stay bright pink. Have no fear there. In fact, you can see Godzilla's tail in the background of that head. I just wanted to show you guys I got it done. You can see the tongue in his mouth sticking out. You can see the detail in the top of his mouth. Okay, and in the bottom. And it's true for all of the heads. Here's another head. Here we got 2 at once. Pretty soon we're going to have 3, and they're going to be biting on Godzilla, and it'll be all sorts of fun. Alright? But I got all 3 heads glued together. Now let me talk about this for a minute. Don't want to zoom out too much. Seam. There is a seam running under that neck. And I don't know how strong that seam is. I'm going to let this cure overnight, then I'll approach it the next day or 2 and see how big of a deal that seam is. My fingernail's catching on it pretty good, so it's going to need some seam working to go away, just like the seam down the center is too. You know, it looks like there's a line around where his head will connect to the neck. But yes, that's supposed to be there because he's got a scale pattern like the belly of a snake, or like this, running along his neck. So that's got to stay. So now you know where I'm at with King Gidrah. Heads are done. I'm gonna attach them. I'm trying to decide if I want to attach them to the necks or fix them first. We'll see. All right, I'll be back later.